welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a full collection review of Sheglam's newest collection, and yes you guys, I was as shocked as you whenever I saw that they already had another new makeup collection. So yes, I did just do the Harry Potter collection like, what, 12 days ago? Less than 2 weeks ago, and I already have in my hands their next collection. So we're gonna go through all of this today. I'm gonna let you know all the products, swatch them, and let you know what I think of these. Also, I'm doing something very different with my hair today, and I can't tell if I like it or if it's kind of giving me Vegas vacation Cousin Vicky vibes. I can totally see that. So if we don't like the hair, I'm just trying something new. I also don't ever do like a center part, and I don't know, I was just feeling it. So if you don't like the hair, it won't stay forever. So the newest collection is called Live to Roam, and you guys, I feel like this is such a really cute theme for a makeup collection, and as always, I feel like Shein is just getting better and better with their like box presentation, like collector sets. Like the packaging of it is awesome. This definitely has some weight to it, and it is actually physically textured like a wood grain. There's like a varnish on here that makes it feel like a wood grain, and it has like a little wooden clasp on here with a little paracord. It really just feels like a really nice presentation of the collection. So when we open it up, this is what the inside looks like. This is the first layer of the collection box. So first off, you have the palette down here. There are 4 liquid lipsticks up here, and then we have a little freebie gift up here. This is actually like a cute little printout map. I will show you guys in just a moment. Then if you pull on the little tab here, there is the second layer. And then down here we have the 6 gel eyeliners, and then also we have the earrings here, which I'm actually wearing right now. So they're like a leather feather, and these are actually kind of interesting because they are not like a traditional earring. They're kind of like a clip-on earring, but I really like the whole presentation of this collection. I think it's very cute. I love the kind of Western type of theming with it. I feel like it's very like just very fun. And it looks like the full collection is about $45 for everything in the collection set, and you can buy everything individually with the exception of, I don't think you can get the earrings, and I don't think you can get the little paper map. I think those are just kind of like exclusive to the collection. My lips are feeling super bare right now, so let's go ahead and get on with the first product. I am going to be doing swatches of the lip products. So there are 4 of these liquid lipsticks. They are all in a varying shade of like nude or brown. So let's go ahead and try these on. I think I'm gonna go from darkest to lightest because I'm most likely gonna end up wearing the lightest color. So as far as the liquid lipsticks, it looks like these do retail for $4.99 a piece. All right, so the first color I have here is called On Vacay. We're gonna go ahead and apply this. And it's very cute. I love the little tassels on here. It's very fun. All right, so this is the color On Vacay. Overall, I feel like this is a little bit dark for my skin tone, but if I wanted to kind of go for like a really dark kind of like 90s brown kind of grunge look, I feel like this is definitely a good color for it. I like how thin the formula is on my lips. It doesn't feel thick. Now I'm not going to let these completely dry down because I do want to swatch them all, so I will be removing it, but it does have a nice thin kind of consistency, but as you can tell, the color is totally there. The next color I'm going to try on is called Travel Bay. This one definitely seems to be a little bit more of a yellow toned brown, and this is the color Travel Bay. Again, I don't think this is quite a color that I would typically wear, but this is what it looks like. I feel like those last 2 colors would just absolutely look beautiful on deeper skin tones. Unfortunately, I just feel like it's not, you know, quite for me, which is totally fine because there's definitely a color in here that I think is definitely more aimed towards my skin tone. Next up, we have the color Earthbound. This one I think is probably the most medium between the 2 extremes of the colors. And one thing I want to mention about the lip wand, I feel like it is one of those that's very flexible. I almost wish it was a little bit stiffer because I feel like those are easier for me to apply. This one does have a little bit of give to it, so that's just something to be aware about. All right, and here is Earthbound. All right, and finally for the last lip color, hopefully, I think this one will be a little bit more flattering for me. This one is called All Aboard. All right, I think this one is definitely much closer to my skin tone and much more suited for me, so I actually really like this color, and I'm glad that they did kind of include a little bit more of a range of lip product colors in this one, because in their last Harry Potter collection, that was one of my complaints, was that they had like 6 lip products and all of them were pretty much sheer or clear, which, you know, with a lip mask product that made sense, but with 4 lip glosses plus a lipstick, all of it being pretty much clear was kind of disappointing, so I like that these definitely have some color to them. So the next thing I'm going to talk about are the eyeliners. So these are all gel eyeliners and there are 6 different colors. There is a black, there's like 2 dark browns. I would say one is slightly more neutral and one is slightly warmer, but I'm not gonna lie, I think that these were kind of too similar in my opinion to have both of them. Then there is a light brown, then we have a cream, and then we have like a white, kind of off-white. It's not like a true stark white. I would definitely call it more of like a cream white. The individual gel liners are $2.99 a piece. And I will insert swatches of these colors. One thing I was really impressed with these is with the swatches, I swatched them all and I let them set for probably about 30 seconds to a minute. And then I did a swipe test to see how the colors either smeared or if they'd rub off or not. And I was actually very, very surprised that they did not budge. It actually took a little bit of effort on my part to kind of scrub these swatches off my hands afterwards, and I think that's a really good sign of a long-lasting eyeliner. So I did apply the black eyeliner to my upper eyelid today, and I'm interested to see how it's going to wear, especially since I typically do not wear gel or cream. I always wear a liquid eyeliner, so it's a little bit different for me. One thing I will say is that it's not the blackest black ever, but it is pretty black. It's a little bit softer than what I typically use with a black liquid liner, but I still think it did the job, and I feel like I was able to create a wing pretty easily, which was another big kind of testament to the product, because I am not good at doing wings with like crayon type of eyeliner, so I was actually quite impressed that I was able to do that fairly easy. Then I did use the kind of nudie cream beige color. This one is called Map Out, and I use that in my waterline, and I really like that one for just brightening up the eye. I feel like it really kind of makes your eyes look bigger and wider. Next is called On Foot. I use this just on the outer portion of my lower lash line just to define that area just a little bit more. One little complaint I have, like I said, 2 of the colors just really kind of seemed too close in my opinion. So as far as the cream eyeliners, I actually have really high hopes for them. I am definitely interested to see how they wear and how they last, because a swatch on a hand is one thing, but how they actually wear on the eyes is another thing. So I'm definitely gonna have to keep my eye on these and see how they apply. But my very first impression, I was actually very impressed with them. The only thing is I wish they would have thrown in like a really fun like turquoise or maybe like a really intense copper metallic gel liner. I feel like that would have been so pretty and would have added just a little bit more color to this collection, because you will see. Let's move on to the palette and I will talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that. You can get this individually for $6.99, and I have to say, packaging wise, I feel like they knock it out of the park every single time. I really love the packaging of this. Number one, I love the small compact size of this palette. It's not overdone and, you know, overwhelming and just too much. It's really cool. It looks like a nice like little leather pouch. My dad used to do a lot of leather work like this, so it's kind of a little nostalgic. And the actual name of the palette, Live to Roam, is embossed into it, so it just has a really cool feeling too. It's got that soft touch feeling, and it has a little toggle clasp here, which is just, I don't know, a really cute element that I feel like just makes it look so much cooler than a $7 palette. So then when you open it up, you have the Live to Roam logo here, or title here, and then this is what the rest of the palette looks like. So overall, my very first impression when I was on the website buying this and I saw the colors, I was like, oh, I like those colors. Those are colors I'll wear. But the more I've thought about these, the more I've thought, again, like I said with the eyeliners, I really wish they would have thrown in like a turquoise, like a pop of turquoise, because when I think of like the West and stuff like that, I think of like the gold, I think of turquoise, I think of like, you know, red clay dirt and stuff like that. And overall, I have to say this is just a cool toned neutral palette. And even though I like these colors, and these are like everyday type of colors for me, I definitely gravitate towards these. I feel like in the spirit of the entire collection, I would have loved to see like a shimmery gold or shimmery copper with that pop of turquoise, and then have a few, you know, little matte browns and neutrals in there to kind of fill out the rest of the palette, because overall when I look at this, there is way too much repetitive colors in here to warrant this palette with only having 8 shadows in it. And we only have one shimmer in the entire palette, and that's right here. This is the color Shining Horizon. We totally could have cut down on some of these other colors here. Like these two right here, so similar. This is Earth Eyes and Desert Dweller. So similar. I don't think we needed both of these in the palette, so we totally could have skipped one of those. And same thing with these two colors right here. Again, light powdery cream kind of colors. We don't need 2 of those in a palette. Some people probably don't want any of them in their palette if they're of a deeper skin tone and won't even use that color to begin with. So it just was way too redundant to have Sandcastle and Pebble Toss. We could have taken out one of those as well and at least put 2 new fun pops of colors in this palette. So really quickly, I will insert swatches of these colors so you can see what I'm talking about. The first set of swatches is how it's laid out in the palette, and then the second set of swatches, I actually went in like a gradient type of formation, so you can actually see side by side how close these colors are to each other. And like I was saying, I just think, you know, we could have cut down on some of these redundant colors and added a few more pops of color and really changed the entire vibe of the palette. One thing I think I want to do is I actually want to do a mock-up of how, if I was consulting on this and they said, you know, they brought me this and they said, okay, this is our palette, what do you think of it? Here's what I would counter design to really kind of, I feel like, liven up the collection just a little bit more, because once you look at it, it's just everything is brown. You know, all the lipsticks are brown, varying shades. All the eyeshadows are brown, varying shades. All the eyeliners are brown in varying shades. So I feel like this collection just really needed a pop of color to kind of break up all the brown. I totally get the brown with it being, you know, a Western kind of, you know, a little bit of a desert maybe kind of vibes, but I just feel like we needed some color in this collection and we just really didn't get any color. One last little tiny nitpicky thing I would have changed about this. I probably would have put a mirror here, because I just feel like any palette that doesn't have a mirror is already going to get knocked down 1 point on my scale, because I want to have a mirror in every palette. I don't care. It's just something I want. Mirrors are cheap. Even if it's not a great mirror, I'm not asking for like world's best mirror. Just put some mirror in here. So they could have totally put a mirror here and then moved that down here, and there was totally room for it, especially with like this being a like a 2 flat palette. I feel like totally could have made it work. Really quick on my thoughts on the actual eyeshadows themselves. It is the standard go-to Shein eyeshadow formula. So if you have used any of their other Shein eyeshadows before, it's the same formula. For me, it's pigmented, but it's so soft. It has the texture of like a chalk pastel, which means it blends, but it almost blends a little too well. To me, I feel like it has just a little bit too much of almost like a silica kind of ingredient. To me, it just feels like it has way too much of that, which is basically like a type of ingredient that is going to make the pigment smooth on very well, which it does smooth on. Like it swatches really beautifully, but it can overblend super easy because it just feel like it doesn't have enough grip in the eyeshadow itself. The only shimmer shadow is, again, their typical, more of like a topper style shadow, but this one I actually felt like had a little bit more of a base color to it, so it's definitely a lot more pigmented than just their typical straight up, I would say, topper shadow style of formula. So I actually did quite enjoy this one. I feel like the color really did show up and it has enough base color to itself that it really does have a nice good shine to it. So I was actually very impressed with that. One last thing I want to throw in here, after I finished filming, I was looking at this palette and I'm like, where have I seen this before? It looks kind of similar. And I went through my collection really quickly and came across another palette that I think is kind of similar, so I wanted to throw this in here for anyone who either already owns this or is thinking about purchase this. Give you a little quick visual comparison. I'm not doing swatches, but a visual comparison. So this is the Live to Roam palette, and this is the Sunday Picnic palette. I think you can still get this, but I mean, are we seeing the colors? They are very similar. Hopefully you can see that those are the two palettes. I think that they're pretty similar. This one does go maybe a hair warmer, but very slight. Just thought I would throw that in there because I was thinking about this palette and I was like, you know, it's very, very similar in my opinion. So as far as my full on thoughts on these products, so the palettes, like I said, the shadows, they're not the best in the world, but I feel like you can get a really pretty look with it. They're not my favorite shadow formulas ever, but I think it's workable. But I think for $7 it's pretty good. But if you're used to like high-end eyeshadows, I can totally see people being not happy with these just because the formula is just, it's a very different formula. I haven't really come across too many other brands that use a type of formula like this, but it definitely does have a little bit of a lower quality feeling to the shadows themselves. But I'm not saying that they're not usable and not good, because I actually do really like the colors and I feel like my look turned out pretty good today. As far as the lip products, I kind of feel like the three of them were very similar. The three darkest colors were very similar with just a slightly different tone of the lip product. Overall for me, I really feel like there's only one of the colors that I would actually wear, which is the one I'm wearing now. Kind of wish they would have taken one of the three of the darker colors and made it just a slightly bit lighter, so it was more of like a true mid-range type of color, because otherwise I feel like three of them are just way too dark for me and I don't think I'll get much wear out of them. And I think for me, the most favorite product of the collection has to be the eyeliners. I think that these are going to be very good. I don't have many brown eyeliners in my collection, so I think I'm definitely covered with the brown now. And then I really like the two lightest colors as well. Those are definitely ones that I like to use in my waterline, and I feel like this had a very good gradient with the exception of those two darkest browns. I feel like we could have either skipped one altogether or added in like a wild card color. So as far as this collection goes as a whole, I'm going to give it like, let's give it a B+. I feel like it was, overall, it's a really cute, fun, themed collection, and I really, really enjoy that. Just have a little bit more fun to it, because at the end of the day, when you really look at it after you get past all the cute packaging and all the theming around it, once you kind of look at the color selection itself, it's just brown all across the board, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it just needed something to kind of give it a little bit more life and color. And especially just coming off of the Harry Potter collection with the eyeshadow palettes, I feel like they did phenomenal with the color stories of those. So this one, after I got past all the theming of it all, and I really started looking at the products, I was like, wow, this is just, it's just like a lot of brown. As always though, I feel like the packaging itself and the theming and the collection branding and all that, I feel like they knock it out of the park. These boxes and collections are so fun to review, so fun to unbox, so fun to use, and I feel like they do this really well at creating a whole collection at a very affordable price. So I'm very, very happy to have gotten this. I would rank this probably a B+ for me. If there were a little bit more colors to it that kind of gave it a little bit more pop, I probably would have easily ranked this like an A type of collection. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.